Hello my Fireflies and welcome back to the one and only TheCyanFirefly. My name's Lyiat and today I'm going to bring you the TLDR on LudoCraft's Air Buccaneers HD. Air Buccaneers was originally a mod for the Unreal Tournament 2004 and has, over the years, been slowly developed into its own standalone title for the Unity engine. LudoCraft has made a couple of other minor game titles such as NovaCraft and Robophonics. So, Air Buccaneers, why are we here? Why are pirates and Vikings flying airships and shooting cannons at one another? Well, basically, it's because it's goddamn awesome and you don't need a real reason. The lore, while present, is kinda hard to find and honestly doesn't matter. I haven't bothered to look for it. In reality, it's an arena deathmatch with flying ships and cannons. Do you require more than that? The actual game is, as I said, a multiplayer arena-style deathmatch. The combat takes place on these large flying ships equipped with cannon, and two teams work to blast the opposing out of the air. It's a simple concept with many layers of complexity. There are all sorts of tricks and tactics that good players can take into mind. The major mechanics of the game come down to flying, manning the cannons, and crewman activities. I'll discuss them each in turn, and discuss the advanced maneuvers that each one can perform. First off, let's talk about the actual flying. Each ship can be manned by any number of people, but there is only one captain. He takes the helm and must guide the ship through cannon and hellfire. The captain can give orders to his crew, which may or may not listen to you, and can steer the ship. It automatically goes forward at a slow pace, and it can turn left and right as well as go up and down. The captain also gets a boost bar which, when full, allows the ship a quick burst of speed in any given direction. This typically is used for evasion or to change the range of the engagement. The second mechanic is, of course, the manning and shooting of the cannon. You may load the cannon with one of three types of ammo. You can either use the long-range rockets, the medium-range cannonballs, or the short-range gunpowder. After the weapon is loaded with the chosen ammo, you simply need to light it with the torch to fire it off. The cannons can be twisted from side to side and can be tilted up and down. Rockets are loaded by using the air mine tool, and you may load several into the cannon at once. They fire off two at a time, flying in a straight line and in a corkscrew pattern. Cannonballs are loaded with the cannonball tool and fire off in an arc. They do more damage than the air mine, but are a bit harder to land a hit with. The final shot is a large burst of flame, given to you via the gunpowder tool. It can be loaded into the cannon up to 3 times, which controls how long the flamethrower effect is. It rips through the ships incredibly quickly and does the most damage over time, though it carries the risk of you being in the range of the enemy's flamethrower or of being boarded. Speaking of being boarded, let's discuss the actual crewman duties. Each player has several other useful tools to perform their roles on the ship. They all carry a sword, which is very good in melee fights with enemy crewmen. Other tools have multiple uses, such as the air mine and the gunpowder. In addition to being ammo types, the air mine can actually be used to deploy a mine to deal damage to the enemy ship, and the gunpowder can be used as a bomb that you may toss onto the enemy deck. Characters also possess a flak musket, which can be used to block bullets, a telescope to help spot enemies, and a rope to help save them if they are knocked off deck or to assist in boarding the enemy ship. I like boarding enemy ships and taking them for my own. It's really fun. Lastly, crew members can rush to the front of the ship to repair it, which can take a long time. The more people repairing at once, the faster the ship gets repaired. Just make sure someone is at the helm or your balloon will fall out of the air, crash, and burn. There are currently 4 implemented maps and 2 different types of ship. The Cog is a smaller ship with a single cannon with a greater cone of fire. The battleship is larger and better armored, complete with 2 cannons on the port and starboard side. They are less mobile than the Cogs, and they have more blind spots as well. Both have value and can be utilized effectively in an engagement. Mechanically, this game is very solid, very tight. It works well, and it's a blast to play when there are enough people on to get a good game going. The largest engagements I've managed to participate in have up to 3 ships in the air at a time, but it is possible to get even further than that. The devs themselves are active and friendly, and they even used to actively play the game alongside its players. I haven't seen them myself, which is a tiny bit disappointing, but we'll see what happens in the future. I do have some minor issues with the game. Some of the texture work is rather poor in comparison to other texture work. The overall quality of the graphics just seems like it could be improved. The cannon models, for instance, look awesome, but the skull on the wheel of the pirate battleship looks horrible. I just think it could use some more tender love and care. I also dislike the complete lack of music in-game. The opening title has some really great epic music, but there is nothing while you are engaged in the high-flying fights. Lastly, I really don't like how the swords work. It just really isn't exciting to engage sword to sword and could use some major revamping. All that said, I'm really enjoying my experiences with Air Buccaneers and will be watching it in the future for later updates and changes in the title. LudoCraft has a highly polished piece of coal. With some attention, some pressure, and a little heat, you'll have a brilliant diamond in no time. But for now, this has been Lyiat with the TheCyanFirefly, off to blast some more holes in a poor Viking's hull. Cast off anchor, we're coming to port.